Today, we are joined together in person and remotely to celebrate the first Hybrid commencement for our Master of Management Studies students at Duke Kunshan campus.
Please stay connected to this amazing team that you have at DKU, and this amazing team you have at Duke University, and this amazing Team Fuqua team. Just as other people have given back to make something of your journey, please stay connected with us so that you can commence to give back to people. I wish for all of you what Joe Wu has achieved, which is to be lucky and to do what matters most. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is that you are in the world. So I'm Bill Bolding. I am the Dean of Duke University's Fuqua School of Business, and it is my enormous privilege to be with you virtually as we celebrate the wonderful accomplishments of the MMS DKU classes of 2020 and 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, could you all please rise, and on behalf of the faculty and staff, I present to you the Fuqua School of Business, Master of Management Studies, Duke Kunshan University, class of 2020 and 2021. So, soon-to-be graduates, could you please enter? So welcome and congratulations to our soon-to-be graduates. And every time we have a graduation ceremony, I tell a story that no matter how things go in the graduation, it can't be as bad as actually starting the ceremony without the students in the room. And of course, that's what I just did. And so please forgive me for getting off on the wrong foot in terms of being able to launch the ceremony. The most important part is to have the graduates in the room and to have the spotlight on them for this wonderful day. And so let me simply repeat my thanks to all of those students
for their creativity and their courage in dealing with what has been a very complicated journey. And my thanks to all those people who helped get you to this finish line, including friends and family and faculty and staff. But this day is really all about these students who have had such a complicated and hopefully such a rewarding journey that brings us to this day of congratulations and day of ceremony. And so I'm very, very excited to be able to present this group to you. And now I would like to have Chancellor Fang take over this part of the ceremony. Thank you so much.
Dear graduates, families and friends, dear faculty and students, good morning and good evening. Today, we are joined together in person and remotely to celebrate the first Hybrid commencement for our Master of Management Studies students at Duke Kunshan campus. In a few minutes, MS students from class of 2020 and 2021 will receive degrees conferred by Duke University's Fuqua School of Business. This will be an important milestone in your life and in DKU's growth too. Congratulations on your accomplishment. The past 2 years have posed unique challenges to all of us amid a global pandemic. For you in particular, it was even more challenging. You had to take classes at late nights or early mornings, and often work across different time zones on team assignments on the tight schedules. It's by no means easy, and you did it. I'm hugely impressed by your exceptional perseverance, talent, and ambitions as you adapted quickly to online classes and navigated through time differences and team dynamics. I'm so proud that you didn't allow the pandemic to be the defining event for your cohort. Despite the challenges, some of you made it to the Fuqua or DKU campus of both, and met with your classmates. For some of you, you built connections with your classmates with no less friendship over Zoom and Teams. I have also heard many of you found ways to meet up outside the campus in Shanghai, in Beijing, or in other places wherever you are able to. No matter how long time passes, the laughter and the tears you have shared with each other will remain as the most cherishable memories when you look back many years later. Dear graduates, congratulations again on successful completing the program in the challenging time of COVID-19 and receiving the Master of Management Study degree from the prestigious Fuqua School of Business, Duke University. You have accomplished your goal with us, and it's time for us to see you off to embark on new journeys and take on new challenges. I hope the knowledge you have gained at Fuqua and the DKU will guide you as you solve real-world problems. The connections you have developed will support you when you encounter uncertainties, and the experience and the skills of distance learning and working with virtual teams will prepare you to thrive in the new age of digitalization, no matter where you will be and what you will become. Please remember that Duke and the DKU community remains your home, where we will support you always. Welcome back often. Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much, Chancellor. And now we would like to move on to the recognition of excellence in teaching. And so the award for the outstanding teacher in the class of 2021. In order to make the presentation of this award, I invite Runpeng Ma, a student representative of the class of 2021, who will make the presentation of this award. If you could please step forward.
Well, thank you, Bill. Dear chancellors, dear classmates on site or on the Zoom, and all the family and friends who come to our graduation ceremony today. I'm so honored to stand here to present the Excellent in Teaching Award on behalf of our class. Thank you so much for your trust. Well, damn COVID-19, and it's really a tough year, right? But we did it. Congratulations on our successful graduation today. The pandemic has brought us some challenges and difficulties in our online learning experience during the whole year. But I just want to say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Through the whole year, I see too many inspiring perseverance among all of us. Some of us fight for internships during the day, but never miss any class in the night. And some of them fight to stay awake in the night, just want to do the team discussion and try to write every assignment well. And some of us fight against loneliness in the Chinese Spring Festival, stay at home alone, gnawing the leftover chicken from the family union at noon, and said, the class is more fun than Chunwan. Thanks to the MMS DKU program, I believe this challenging but wonderful experience will become our source of power for our continued effort. Because of the team-focused spirit, the business knowledge we've learned, and the best friends we made with, we believe in the best we can still be the best fighter, continuing fight for our career, our dream, and our family. Of course, every good fighter needs the best mentor, and we are no exception. Although there are too many fantastic, excellent professors and teachers in China who have shown us their excellent teaching abilities and professional academic quality. But our class believes there was one professor in particular went above and beyond, allowing us to have a deep understanding of the decision problems, build smart models to analyze the question, and make a good choice to solve the difficulty. The knowledge he gives us will not only help us to excel in our workplace, no matter what kind of job we choose, but can also help us to live in a wise life in the future. So today, I stand here so honored on behalf of our class, present the Excellent in Teaching Award to Professor David Brown.
Thank you so much, Runpeng. It's wonderful to see all of you. And thank you so much for this recognition. Really means a great deal to me. Miss seeing all of you. As I said during our last class, I'm incredibly grateful to have a career that provides me the opportunity to work with such amazing students who want to positively impact the world. And this year more than ever, getting to work with all of you, an outstanding group. It was a really valuable and much needed reminder to me about all the things I have to be lucky about. And the only tinge of sadness I have is that I've yet to have the opportunity to meet many of you in person, and I hope that changes soon. So thank you so much. It really means so much to me. Please keep in touch, and most importantly, congratulations.
Well, now, I'd like to introduce two of my amazing friends, our dear class presidents, Mengqing Li, the LRA sister who I admire, because if you are tired during the class, just turn to the Zoom view to her. You can always see she is learning and making notes and listening class attentively. And Ruohan Wang, who we believe can not only beat her bar resident singer, but can also be the next dean of Fuqua. Let's hear them.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. So before we present, we do have a class gift section. So on behalf of class of 2021, we would like to present this check to the Vice Chancellor of Government Relations, Xiaolin Chang, to show our support to Duke Kunshan University. And this gift to Duke Kunshan University will help support funding priorities of university and MMS program to pave the way forward to future students. Class of 2021, thank you for all your participation and support. Welcome.
Thank you all for the class gift and for your all the love to Duke Kunshan University, and congratulations for all you for the graduation. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll start our presentation right now. Okay, first, to the class of 2021, congratulations, we did it. So what a special ceremony it is. So we have students not only from the class of 2020, but also, nervous, can you, again? Okay. So what a special ceremony it is. We have students not only from class of 2021, but also from class of 2020. It's honor for Ruohan and me to represent the whole class today. I'm Mengqing, one of the students who took a leave of absence last spring due to the pandemic. I returned this spring to complete the program. Though the class format was still online, which was not what I expected. Who would expect that a year ago, right? But I'm so glad that I can able to connect with my old friends from the class of 2020 and also meet some wonderful new people from class of 2021. At the beginning, I would like to represent all of you to express the appreciation for some lovely people. To the Dean of Fuqua, Professor Bill Boulding, and the Senior Associate Dean, Professor Ross Morgan. Thank you for your support for the MMS DKU program. And thank you all the professors for giving us guidance patiently. And thank you Steve, Ellie, Anne, and Jenna to help us along the program. I could imagine that the unexpected pandemic brought a big challenge for the school. And also, thank you for Joe Wu for coming today to serve as our commencement speaker. And thanks to all the guests that come in here today. The supports from all of you are always important for us. For the MS program, Team Fuqua is the most representative phrase for our community. At Fuqua, it's not only written on the paper, but also carried in and out of the classroom. My team consists of students with diverse academic backgrounds and nationalities. I love that each time when we work on the team projects, everyone in my team will draw out his or her strengths to move the team forward toward a common goal. Oh, my hat, sorry. And we also learn good qualities from each other as well. And outside the classroom, we also had good memories about Team Fuqua. For the students who returning from the leave of absence, do you still remember the 6 months that we spent in Durham? In a way, we were lucky. We got to travel to Duke, unlike the class of 2021. Okay. We got to know our new team members and explore Fuqua from the scavenger hunt. We made our first outdoor team building activity in the triangle training, where we learned that in order to reach further, we need to trust our teammates. We are attending the Duke basketball campouts to win the tickets. We invited students from different countries to hold a cooking class every week. And when we returned this year at Duke Kunshan University, we had movie nights and trips to Suzhou with a new class of 2021. We did lots of things together, and all of these activities and memories brought us and hold us together. And now we are going to leave the school and start new adventures. I know many of you made best use of time by doing internships while taking online courses, and that many of you received your dream offers. I feel really proud and happy for you. The future is full of challenge, but also opportunities. I wish everyone will reach your goal and enjoy life. Don't doubt yourself. Every student from Fuqua, from Duke, is unique and fabulous. With the spirit of Team Fuqua, we believe that we would go further and make the world better. And definitely, please stay connected. And lastly, congratulations again. Love you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Mengqing. Honorable Dean, distinguished teachers, dear students and friends, good morning and good evening. My name is Ruo Han. It is my great honor to give a speech at the commencement as a representative of students. I believe that MMS program holds different values for each one of us. For me, this program is a great opportunity to refresh myself. It's such a pleasure to have the chance to return to the school after working for 3 years. Besides, it's such a delight to graduate here again in Kunshan, where I was born and raised, and to graduate here at the DKU campus, a place just across the road from our high school. After I took a break from my job, here I truly realized what skills I lacked and which place I belong to. This year at Duke University has given me a lot to reflect on myself and a lot to learn and take away. It has turned out to be one of the most valuable and rewarding experiments since I graduated from my undergrad. Looking back on this year, I must admit that students of our class have so many unmanageable regrets. Due to the global pandemic, I neither had a chance to stroll around the beautiful campus of Duke University in Durian like Mengqing, nor did I have the chance to invite my close international students to taste my delicious food of my hometown. This year, the word I heard most from our professors was they feel sorry for us as the course could be affected because of the online mode. However, I would still like to express my sincere gratitude to all the faculty of Duke's Fuqua School of Business for your great efforts to ensure the teaching quality during such a challenging period. However, as the saying goes, in each loss, there is a gain. I believe that we have not only fulfilled the spirit of Team Fuqua, but also enriched it. Don't you remember the nights we stayed up for meetings and the assignments we took over from people from one time zone to another to make sure it can be delivered in time. We have proved that our effective cooperation has not only overcome cultural differences, national differences, and prejudice, but also span across the Pacific Ocean and the 12-hour time gap. We are not isolated by the COVID-19. Instead, we are more closely united. My dear classmates, it never occurred to me that the 10 months will be so short when I greet you on Zoom for the first time. We are so zoomed out during the last 10 months, but I'm already missing the time Zooming with you. I feel so fortunate to have made friends with each one of you and to share with you one of the most splendid journeys of my life. Yes, we are bidding farewell today, but we are also setting out for a fresh start. So please stay connected, and I look forward to the day when we finally meet and unite again in person. Thank you all.
It is now my great privilege and honor to introduce the graduation speaker, Joe Wu. Joe is a graduate from the Fuqua School of Business back in 2004, and so if I just start with talking about the facts, after graduating, Joe joined NetDragon, a company focused on China's online games and mobile internet industries, and from there, NetDragon spun out 91 Wireless, and Joe became CEO of 91 Wireless, which was then in 2013 sold to Baidu in one of the largest mergers and acquisitions in the history of China's internet sector. After having sold 91 Wireless, Joe went on to become the founding partner of M Fund, which is an investment fund focused on a broad range of sectors and is designed to support entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, and has been very, very successful in encouraging a new generation of entrepreneurs. And all of this is, of course, very impressive. Joe is one of our most successful, most distinguished, and most supportive alumni. But it's more than just what he's accomplished, it's how he has accomplished things. And he has always done his best to do whatever he can to support others. He lives the values of Team Fuqua and gives generously to others in order to unlock their potential and to make them successful. Personally, I'm incredibly grateful that I've benefited from Joe's wisdom, from his advice as a member of our East Asia Regional Advisory Board, where he has been just an incredible contributor. In recognition of so many of the things that he's done, he received our Alumni Award for Exemplary Service in 2018, and that was an award that was so well deserved. But more than anything, as I asked Joe to come up to the stage, Joe is someone who is, yes, a trusted advisor, full of wisdom and insight, which is what you hope for in any graduation speaker, but he's also someone who is incredibly humble and lives this value of humility in a way that is honestly inspiring for someone who's had so much success to retain that humility, and more than that, the decency that I think is required to be an effective leader in the world today. So with that, I very much look forward to hearing Joe's remarks. Joe, could you please come up on the stage?
Thank you, Bill. We miss you very much. And thank you, Chancellor Fan, Vice Chancellor Chen, and Vice Chancellor Scott McKitchen, faculty members, family, friends, and most importantly, class 2020 and 21. It is a great honor speaking with you today. And in the last few weeks, I kept on asking myself what I want to share with you today. It has been a painful process for me. I listened to a different version of speeches, such as famous one developed by Steve Jobs, Tim Cook, and previous other speakers from the school, in the hope of stealing some of their wisdoms. I felt even more puzzled. The reason I was struggling so much about this is because I did not grow up in a conventional way. I was not a top student at school. I was not a diligent entrepreneur or investor. I owe my success and my achievements mostly to luck and people I work with. I have been called Lucky Joe among friends. Yes, I deeply believe I'm blessed by luck. So what is luck? Is luck given or is it earned? Can we change our luck? Today I would like to share my understanding about luck with you. I would like to start my first story with my childhood. Before going to school, I was raised by my grandmother in a small village in southern China. She had cared for me with unconditional love during the years that I spent with her. Although we were very limited in our material possessions, she still tried her best to provide for me. The unconditional and selfless love I experienced as a child from my grandmother has built a powerful and solid foundation of self-esteem in me. For this, I forever feel lucky. I moved back with my parents and my sister when I began elementary school. My parents, like most of Chinese parents, were very strict on our schoolwork and had high expectations for us. Between my sister and me, my sister was no doubt the smarter, prettier, and the harder working one. It is not easy living with a superstar, but I eventually find a way to cope with the fact. I used every means to lower the expectations that my parents had for me. Here is an example. The night before I left for the US to start school, my father and I took a walk in a park nearby. He asked me what kind of career I would like to choose for myself. I replied to him with hesitation, dentist. Although he seemed satisfied with my answer, he still asked why. I told him that for a careless person like me, being a doctor is very risky, as there's a really good chance that I might jeopardize someone's life. But the worst damage a dentist can do is probably just pulling off some wrong teeth. After hearing my reason, I could see my father was trying very hard to control his temper and quietly walk on without saying another word. So the acceptance letter from UC Berkeley came as a surprise. Up till that point, I had pretty much lived in my sister's shadow, and with the knowledge that there were many people that smarter than me in school. So I really thought that Berkeley had made a mistake. When it was confirmed that I was one of the only 2 students in our school that got accepted, I felt lucky and relieved at the same time. But shortly after I began my semester at Berkeley, I received 2 consecutive C's. My confidence was completely shattered again. Try imagine what it's like for an academic loser to be surrounded by straight-A students. I came to realize that I'm not the smart person. The feeling subconsciously influenced me not wanting to compete with my peers in the job market after graduation. I told my parents I want to run my own business. Not a convincing excuse, but they decided to give it a chance. Thus, I was on my conventional path of becoming an entrepreneur and faced 3 failures in 8 years. I started my first company with a good friend, Alfred, to do food trading business. We import rice noodle and dry mushroom from Fujian province to the US and sold them to local US wholesalers. Just when our business was on track, the supplier shipped us 5 containers of the wrong rice noodle. Instead of giving us the restaurant grade of noodles, the supplier shipped us the one for home consumption. The US wholesaler rejected the entire cargo. My friend and I had to drive around to visit all the local Asian supermarkets. It was a two-man show company, so we have to play all different roles: salesperson, truck driver, account manager. It took us 3 months to clear out all the rice noodles. This was my first lesson from the business world. We conclude that being a middleman, such as a food trading company, was not a good business model for us. So we decided to develop our own brand product in the beauty nutritional market. Our own brand of deep sea fish collagen came to market in 3 months. Although we still encountered many challenges, this time we did much better than the first business. At least we pay our own salary. During the time, the founder of NetDragon, DJ, was also in the US managing his mother's nutritional supplement business. He talked me into combining my business with his mother's business to raise money in the US public market, and then bring the JNC health food chain's business model back to China. What a great idea. We both were very excited and worked very, very hard. Unluckily, there was a financial crisis in 1997, so the IPO failed, and the year after, the company ran out of cash. We have to close down the business, and this was the end of my second business. In 1999, my friend watched on the news that Taiwan was hit by the great September 21st earthquake. He came up with the idea of initially employing GPS technology to locate people buried alive in the rubble of buildings. I was invited to be his founding partner. We raised $2 million from investors in Silicon Valley and came back to China. A team of 60 people was set up in Shanghai for product development, and an operation center in Chengdu was also put in place. Everything seemed great at the beginning. Later on, we found the technology and solution was too ahead of its time, so the business failed. You see, I failed so many times, up to the moment in my life. Definitely, I didn't see myself as a lucky Joe, maybe an average Joe, or even a poor Joe. I was confused at the time, and my self-confidence was very low. Even my mom started worrying about my future. So I decided to go back to pursue an MBA degree. The decision happened to be the turning point of my life. Being accepted by Philco was one important factor. The other critical factor was that I was ignited by a single essay question that I've since used as a compass for life. What matters most to you? What matters most to you? What matters most to you? I tried to answer this essay question repeatedly. It dawned on me that I had never given this any serious thought for my life up until that point. I did not have a good answer. It was after I came to Duke that I began exploring myself. After graduating from Philco in 2004, I was faced with choosing between a career in one of the Fortune 500 companies or pursuing something hidden in my heart. I tried to picture myself wearing expensive tailor-made shoes and ties, holding glass of wines, and making important conversations at the banquets or social event. Will I be happy with myself in this image for the next 5-10 years? I kept on asking myself this question and couldn't seem to make up my mind. And just when I was in Illinois, my old-time friend, DJ, you may remember him from the nutrition chain store business earlier in the story, called me out of the blue and asked if I want to do something together. What matters most to me, again, popped up in my mind. What kind of life I'm looking for? I asked these questions to myself again and again. Luckily, I chose to listen to my heart. I want to have control of my life. Being an entrepreneur is a natural fit. I came back to China to begin my most well-known ventures. I led NetDragon to IPO in 2007, and then sold 91 Wireless to Baidu in 2013 for $1.9 billion. After that, in the hope of nurturing the next generation entrepreneurs, I founded AIM Fund, which focused on making early-stage investment. Since 2015, we have invested more than 80 startups. Then in 2017, I initiated Match EDU. Match EDU is a charity organization that supports rural area teachers by providing them with online and offline soft skill trainings in the hope to enhance the overall well-being. Now Match EDU has already connected more than 70,000 teachers from 29 provinces in more than 4,000 rural schools. My life has taken a complete different direction. From what I have shared with you now, you can see my life development up till now consists of 3 different stories. The first story began with my childhood and my family, which was given to me by default. I was born into it. I was lucky that my family provided me love, support as I was growing up. The second story is about how I failed so many times because I was just making random choices, random decisions unconsciously. Luckily, I survived and have built myself with different skill sets. More importantly, I've acquired long-time friendship along the way. The last story is how I began asking what matters most to me and intentionally follow my heart to act on it consistently. I've grown luckier and luckier. So what is luck? To some extent, it is given to you. It's the things that you cannot choose for yourself, like your country, race, and family. But still, a very big part, it comes from your own choices too. It comes from how you view this world and how to utilize every chance that you have to make important choices. Although every choice seems to be an isolated moment in time, these choices gradually connect with one another to evolve into your own life story. I would like you to believe that the purpose of life is not determined by money, power, or any label that comes with these things. It should be defined by love, meaning, happiness, and what matters most to you in the long run. For this reason, look inside. Treat yourself as a piece of unique artwork, not a commodity. Take every failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. Pay the price to deserve what you want the most. Build long-term relationships with trustworthy people. Be curious, be positive, and be kind. Even after undergoing moments of pain, grief, and trouble, you still have the power to feel lucky. And you will have a successful life by your own definition. Your life journey lies ahead of you. Enjoy and have fun. Wish you all good luck. Thank you.
Many, many thanks, Joe. It took me years to convince Joe that he would be an exceptional graduation speaker, and it was worth waiting for that. All of us are very, very lucky to be able to hear from Joe, to learn his lessons, and for him to show us by example that success really is defined by determining what matters most to all of us, and then figuring out our path from there. So, Joe, I'm incredibly grateful that you have taken the stage and shared your insights, which is something I know that was a very difficult thing for you to do, but we're all very, very grateful. So, with that, I would like to transition to Steve Mizuraka, who is the Assistant Dean of our MBA and MMS programs. And so Steve will take over for me. So please hold on as we make this transition.
Thank you, Bill. And Joe, that was absolutely fantastic. Before I start, I have to admit, as I see you on screen in this giant green screen behind me, it is just so wonderful to see you together in that auditorium, smiling, happy with people you care about. It's been a few years since I've been to the DKU campus. I wish I was there with you today. I miss you. I also see a couple friends I would actually call family on screen here in Zoom world. I can't wait to see you too. Time to get back to family. It really has been a unprecedented, disrupted, difficult, and challenging year. But it does feel good to be with you here today, celebrating. I know your journey here was short, but that was only your journey as a student. You are part of the Duke, the Fuqua, the DKU, the MMS family, and Team Fuqua forever. For both the class of 2020 and 2021, you made it through, and you made it through together. You contributed in so many different ways, through leadership, through teamwork, through friendship, and for some of you, through your amazing academic accomplishments. At this time, we would like to acknowledge a number of today's graduates. First, for each graduating class, we recognize the top 10% of their class for their academic achievement. These students are designated as Fuqua Scholars and are noted in your program. Their name will also show on the screen. I will read the names of the Fuqua Scholars alphabetically, and I would ask the audience to wait until I've read all the names before indicating their support. And congratulations. So are you ready? The Master of Management Studies, Duke Kunshan University, class of 2020, Fuqua Scholars are Xiao Wei Huang, Daniel Stanley Nathan, Cha Cheng Su, Jia Cheng Weng, Shengling Weng, and Meng Fu Zhu. Please give them a round of applause. For those of us in Durham, I absolutely love the shots of the audience, so please keep those coming. It's so good to see the students and their families. The Master of Management Studies, Duke Kunshan University, class of 2021, Fuqua Scholars are Nicholas George Dyer Adams, Xiaxin Li, Jizei Liu, Runping Ma, Yun Ma, Runking Wu, Hengxing Zhang, and Yui Zhao. Give them a round of applause. So now it is time to individually recognize each of our graduates. Today we want each of our graduates to come forward to be recognized and congratulated by Dean Boulding, Chancellor Fung, and our commencement speaker, Joe Wu. Chancellor Fung, Joe, would you please join the stage and recognize the graduates? At this time, I'd like to ask my friends, colleagues, and teammates, Jen and Ann, the program specialist and associate director of the MMS DKU program, to come forward and read the names of our graduating students.
李梦琴、王若涵、曹云祥、 陈心儿、党之下、郭维维、郭维维、胡思帆、华兴、黄诗雨、黄舒淇、姬昭云、康东、来爽、乐雅欣、李思腾、李欣熙、李艺熙、林真、陆思杰、卢子杰、牛艳杰、钱思雨、饶怡然、 史一帆。宋一凡。孙程程。王程程。王慧庸。
王梦飞。王运哲。温京。魏忠泰。吴佳玉。吴润清。肖晨星。谢欣怡。熊新月。杨安康。叶了。袁逸飞。张浩然。张恒熙。张良。张素杰。 张轩宇、张义灿、张玉、宇慧章、赵一静、赵月、周媛媛、朱建豪、Next, we are lucky to have 7 students graduates from class of 2020 who are able to make it in person today. Next is Chen Jiahao, Zhou Mengfu, Ye Mingzhu, Xing Zhu Li, Huang Tong, Wang Shenling, Chen Junyu, We are also lucky to have a few graduates from both class of 2020 and class of 2021 who are able to join us remotely tonight. Jiang Yufei, Zhang Jiayun, Catherine Ling Bell, Kang Chen Hao, 秋楠。Nicholas George Dyer Adams. Our last but not least graduate, 谢文静。Congratulations, every graduate.
Congratulations to all of our graduates. I have to admit, as I see myself projected onto the screen in the beautiful auditorium at Duke Kunshan University, I feel a little bit like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. And so I thought that perhaps if I play up to that role, I should share a little bit of wisdom before we finish with our ceremony. And if you think about graduation, we actually use two different words to describe what we're doing today. One is graduation, and the other is commencement. Graduation means that we're finishing something, and commencement means that we're beginning something. So there's a paradox that we're simultaneously ending and beginning. And so I'd like to talk about both the ending and the beginning. If you look at what it means to graduate in a dictionary, it turns out that one of the more obscure definitions is to move to a higher state of consciousness. And so, in my view, in fact, as you graduate, you have moved to a higher state of consciousness in 4 different ways. The first one is happiness. And you may find that to be an odd thing to say in a world that has experienced so much misery over the past almost 2 years now, as we've been living in a COVID world for an extended period of time. And happiness is not probably the first thing that comes to mind when you think about what you've experienced, where some of you have never set foot on the Duke campus in Durham, North Carolina, and some of you have never set foot on the Duke Kunshan campus in Kunshan. And so, having said that, I think that you have achieved happiness for a very special reason, which is you are a part of something which is very important. At Fuqua, we have a goal, and our goal isn't to produce the most talented person in the room, something that I'll note each one of you has been able to achieve when taking online classes, that you have been the smartest person in the room. But we're not looking for the smartest, most talented person in the room. We're looking for people who embody genius. And this is captured by what the poet Yeats said. Talent perceives differences, genius unity. And this is what we're looking for from all of you, which is there are lots of talented people in the world who are playing up on differences in a negative way, who are increasing the amount of polarization in the world. But if you're a part of Team Fuqua, you're the genius that's looking for how do we bring people together, how do we unlock the potential of each other to make everyone around us better. And that's the genius of Team Fuqua, and that's the genius that has led me to conclude that in fact you have graduated to a higher state of consciousness in terms of achieving happiness as Aristotle would define happiness, which is making full use of your talents along the lines of excellence. And each of you has been able to achieve this happiness because you're surrounded by extraordinary people. And so as you go through life, you may look back on this time and think of this as a time of misery, difficulty, and challenge, but I also think you'll come to realize that you are blessed to spend this period with each other, to learn from one another, and to bring out the best from one another. Which brings me to the second thing where I think you've achieved a higher state of consciousness, which is friendship. You are surrounded by friends on Team Fuqua. These are friends for now and forever. And because you've achieved true friendship, I think that this is something that will be meaningful in that we can distinguish true friendship from fleeting or transitory friendship only when we are, as Aristotle said, in distinguishing between fleeting and true friendship, it can only be achieved when we're surrounded with good people similar in virtue. And that's what Team Fuqua has given you. Good people similar in virtue. And that leads to the third thing that you've achieved, which is belonging. And again, and all of you might find that a little bit odd, given that some of you have never been on both campuses. But in fact, you belong. You all belong to a great team, and it comes with lifetime membership. It's something that you will be a part of forever. And as it's said in the song lyrics to the Hotel California by the Eagles, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. You will always be a part of this community. You will always belong. This will always be your home. And in fact, you have something that's very, very special, which is you will always have a home here in Durham, North Carolina on the Duke campus, and you will always have a home in Quinshan on the Duke Quinshan University campus. You belong in both places, and that's even more special. And we look forward to welcoming you to both of those campuses over time. Now, what I will say is that you have something that gives you lifetime membership in a community, and it extends to all of the Fuqua alumni, all of the Duke Quinshan alumni who are distributed around the world, and it's an amazing privilege to join that community as you transition from student to graduate. But it also comes with responsibility to be a member of that community. And so that brings me to the fourth thing you've achieved, which is decency. We've brought all of you into the program because we saw decency in you. However, I think that what you've been able to accomplish under the most difficult of circumstances has brought out an even higher level of decency from each and every one of you as you nurtured each other, as you brought each other along in an environment which was so complicated and so difficult. But this decency is the requirement for membership in Team Fuqua because, in fact, decency is the secret ingredient that enables happiness, that enables friendship, and enables belonging. So the price of admission for lifetime membership in Team Fuqua is decency. Never, ever lose your decency. Please follow the model that Joe Wu has provided in showing that decency is something that lasts for a lifetime. And so as you embark on your journey, let me transition from graduation to commencement. And so commencing right now, I have 4 things to ask of you. The first is show deep and frequent appreciation for those who got you here, both those who are present with you, either in the auditorium at Duke Quinshan University or in the room with you, wherever you're located around the world, but also those people who aren't with you, who are part of your success, who are part of the process of getting you to this momentous occasion. It took a team to get you here. Please, please show appreciation on an ongoing basis for those people who mean so much in your life. The second thing, as you move forward, is don't forget us. Please stay connected to this amazing team that you have at DKU, and this amazing team you have at Duke University, and this amazing Team Fuqua team. Just as other people have given back to make something of your journey, please stay connected with us so that you can commence to give back to people who will follow in your footsteps. And the third thing I ask of you is to stay connected to one another. This past year plus has made it so difficult to connect, and we've used every opportunity, every creative solution that we can come up with to stay connected. Life is going to get a little bit easier to physically connect as we move forward, and don't take it for granted that you should stay connected to one another. These people who are surrounding you, who made such a difference in your lives over the past 2 years, please make it a point to stay connected with each other as you move forward. Life will come at you fast and furious, and it will be easy to let the relationships you've developed decay unless you give them appropriate attention, commencing now. And the last thing I ask of you is make this your time. Commencing immediately, this is your time. This is your time to shine. The world has gone through such a terrible time. People are desperate for leadership. People are desperate for security. People are desperate for opportunity. And so this is your time to use the platform of business to make a difference in the lives of others. And so I wish for all of you what Joe Wu has achieved, which is to be lucky and to do what matters most. And so with that, I pronounce all of you graduates of the MMS DKU classes of 2020 and 2021. And I would now like to turn things over to the Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs to close our ceremony. Scott, if you could please take the podium.
It will be impossible for me to follow a speech that went from Star Wars to Aristotle to Hotel California, and so I won't try. To the graduates of the DKU class of 2020 and 21 Masters of Management Studies program, I want to pass on the heartfelt congratulations from me personally and on behalf of the university as a whole. As has been said, but I'm going to say it as well because it really bears emphasis. You've completed your graduate program in circumstances that have been challenging in many ways and that none of us really anticipated. And you've done so with confidence and with great spirit. Your success is a testimony to hard work and perseverance, and we've watched you achieve that success with great satisfaction. As a Duke, this is a proud moment for all of us here at DKU. Certainly for you, the graduates and your families, but also for the DKU faculty and staff. And I want to recognize their contribution to your success as well. To the graduating class, as you leave Duke Kunshan University to embark upon, as you commence your new adventures, I encourage you to consider taking on some of the challenges facing our global society, using the skills that you've developed here, as well as the social commitment and compassion that both Team Fuqua and Duke Kunshan University seek to instill in all their students. At DKU, you have acquired expertise that will be vitally important in solving the problems that the future holds for the world. If the coronavirus pandemic has done one thing, it's demonstrated that we all live in one interconnected world, that crises are not deterred by borders or ignorance, and that wise leadership and skilled management will be central to creating a livable, healthy, peaceful world, one where all humans can coexist in balance with nature. Thank you so much, all of you, for deciding to spend this formative time here with us. Like you, unlike me, our university is young. And like DKU, you could tell that because I got the Obi-Wan Kenobi reference. You know, if you get that right away, you're not young. Our university is young, and like DKU, you have a great future ahead of us. Duke Kunshan, with Duke, remains your academic home, and we hope you will return home often. Our faculty and staff wish you the very best in your future endeavors, and we do hope that you will remain connected with us. Let me end by congratulating all of our graduates in the Master of Management Studies class program for the class of 2020 and 2021. And now I would like to invite all of the graduates to come up to the stage for a group photo.
Okay, one more. All right, I think we are all good. Thank you so much, everyone, and congratulations, MSDKU Class 2020 and Class of 2021. You did it. Well done.